Welcome back into Gear Heart Radio, everybody. Is Elijah Griffith, and on the phone with me right now, I have a special guest here to talk about her brand new Christmas album, All Hearts Come Home for Christmas. Welcome on, Trish Torline. Trish, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day to be alive, no matter how rainy it is outside.
That is true, my dear. That is so true these days.
And I've been listening to your Christmas album the entire weekend. Me and my wife have been trying to decorate and get things ready a little bit. And we always like to have some Christmas music while we were doing it. So we listened to your entire Christmas EP from the front to the finish. And I got to say, we fell in love with the whole thing. My favorite track is probably Don't Get Your Tinsel in a Tangle. That is quite a good one right there. But my wife's favorite song is the Come Let Us Adore. That is it right there. Yeah, she loves that song.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I'm so glad.
What made you want to create a Christmas album?
Well, I've always wanted to do one. I actually did one back in 2001. And that one was I took the traditional Christmas carols and put it together with some narration and basically told a Christmas story. So that was my very first ever Christmas project. And ever since then, I thought, I really would like to do another one at some point in time. And about the last, 3 to 4 years, I started really thinking about it. And I retired from teaching a year and a half ago. I taught band. I was a band director. And, of course, that gave me a whole lot more time to focus on my my professional music, my music career. Mm-hmm. And I, once again, that little, in my spirit, I kept thinking, I want to do a Christmas album. And, trust me, you have to start in the summer to do it. And, with me, it's like I think about November. Oh, gee, I wish I would have, you just can't turn one around. So, in saying all of that, I guess May and June, I thought, this might be the year that I actually get it done. I've been really writing a lot, and one thing I did not want to do, and I think that may be why I kind of put it off, is I didn't want to do the same old songs. You can only do something so many times and have it be different and refreshing. And I didn't want to copy somebody else's version.
Yeah, so I was going to ask about that, because I seen where it was all original material. And we've all heard the same Christmas songs over and over again, year after year. How difficult is it creating an original Christmas song? Because there's not many of them.
Well, it is, because once again, you have to come up with a fresh way of telling the Christmas story, or a fresh way of, pulling something out, of talking about Santa Claus, or talking about snow, or, the holiday things that we think of. And so when I thought, okay, I'm going to do it this year, but I'm going to write all original tunes. And as you said, that in itself, that really is a feat. Because I had to come up with 6 original concepts. So this is going to sound so, I don't know. It might sound lame to some. It might sound inspiring to some, if there's any songwriters out there. But, inspiration comes to songwriters in so many different ways. You really just can't pinpoint it. And so, I made a decision, I'm going to do this. And one of the things to help keep me moving, because you've got to get it turned around in a certain amount of time, so it's out for the holidays. And I decided that several of the songs I wanted to co-write, because I have a tendency to marinate on things. Mm-hmm. And, so when I write a song, it probably takes me longer than it should just because I marinate so long on it. Is that really what I want? Should that really be that way? But one thing I have found in co-writing that it has taught me how to not marinate so much, to put it in those terms. So I picked some of my favorite local writers. I also run a songwriter circle, Heartstring Songwriter Circle here in Central Kentucky, and so I had met these people through that, and thought our styles might work well together, and so I just sent them an email and asked them, hey, pray about it, and if you'd like to get on board, I'd love to co-write with you for this project, and all three said yes. So that helped to propel it along, so I didn't get stuck. And then so 4 of the songs are co-written and 2 of the songs are just me. And so that was the first thing that I thought would help, because then with the ones that were co-writing, I didn't have to come up with everything on my own, because once again,
Yeah, I'm the same exact way. I can get inside my own head very easy. Who are the 3 people that helped co-write the album with you?
Okay, Nate Jackson is one. We did 2 songs together. One of them I kind of spearheaded, and the other one was kind of his baby. He brought it to the table, and then we went with it. But I have been writing with Nate, since the first of this year. So, and I really do like the way that we worked together. So 2 songs are with Nate, and he lives here in Winchester. He's from Winchester. And one is co-written with Matthew Douglas Simpson, who lives, I think he actually lives in Georgetown, but he is a Cynthiana, Kentucky native. And the other is Donovan Howard, which might be down your way a little bit there. I don't know if you're familiar with
I've heard the name before. That sounds really familiar. I'll look him up.
Yeah. Yes. And so Donovan I met through the Heartstring Songwriter Circle. And then Matthew, come to find out that I actually taught him when I taught in Cynthiana for a few years. But what really brought us together here about 2 years ago was I'm the Kentucky curator for what's called the Acoustic Guitar Project, which is a national platform for songwriters in which each chapter has a guitar, and you pass it to songwriters. And that songwriter has a week to write a song on that guitar. And then at the end of the circulation period, or what we call the artist period, you come together in a concert. So last year, and this happens all over the world. There's, London, Australia, there's like 62 chapters throughout the world. But over 1,000 brand new songs were written because of this project. And it's really cool. You can check it out on the acousticguitarproject.com. So our inaugural year 2 years ago, I was just kind of trolling Facebook on, singer-songwriters, and ran across Matty, listened to his stuff, and he was centrally located here in Kentucky. So I contacted him, say, would you like to be part of this project? And so that's how at that point, I thought it was just meeting him, until they said, you taught me in middle school. And then, boy, did I feel old.
But it is amazing, though, how much of an impact a band director can have on a student. I was in band for all years of school, and I got a great relationship with my band director. It's some great times that I had in that class.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't his band director. I had just moved back from California, and the band directors who were there, Bob and Laura Gregg, I had done my student teach with them. So, I knew the community, and I was coming back from California. So they helped me out and got me I actually taught a couple years of general music there and choir. And until I got my first band job, which was in Winchester, where I am now, and I've been here since 96. So it's been a while. But you're right. You're right about band directing, I enjoy keeping in touch with my students and seeing how they grow up and become awesome adults and parents. And even, I still am in contact with my band directors that I had when I was growing up. They made some incredible impressions on my heart. And, we are an accumulation of those who feed into us throughout the years. So some great memories, great lessons, and I really do appreciate, and that's all my teachers, feeding into me in my impressionable years. And hopefully I turned out pretty good. So,
hey, it is a great class. I encourage anybody out there that's in high school or college or middle school to get in that class. It is a whole lot of fun. And one thing that my wife pointed out whenever we were listening to your Christmas album over the weekend is how relatable it is. I think that's what me and her loved most about it, because we would listen to a song, well, for me at least, especially Don't Get Your Tinsel in a Tangle. Oh, I do that quite a bit throughout the holiday season. So yeah, this song just resonated with me. Whenever it came to writing the Christmas songs, did any of those lyrics come from personal experience?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out where to start. After I just figured out how about the process, I was going to co-write and things. I guess the next step was what am I going to write about? And so I kind of like, once I kind of, one thing that gets me going, one of my creative ways, if you will, to kind of get the creative juices flowing is, I started thinking about titles. Now, Don't Get Your Tinsel in a Tangle is the one exception to what I'm going to share with you in just a second. I love Steel Magnolias, the movie Steel Magnolias.
Oh, that's an incredible movie.
Oh, and so there's one line, or there's a spot in there where Dolly's character is talking to Arnell, her assistant, and she makes a statement. I was watching, and she goes, did you and how she put it? Did you and Sammy get tangled in the tinsel? Is what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy was the character's husband, and did you and Sammy get tangled in the tinsel? And I just kind of thought I've always liked that phrase, and but I knew I couldn't quite use it in the way that she.
yeah, kind of a different tangle they're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, that's probably not the way I want to go for a Christmas song. And so I just kind of wrote it down and kept looking at it. And basically all I did was flip some words. And so Don't Get Your Tinsel in a Tangle. And
that's a clever way to turn something from what they're talking about into a good little Christmas song.
There you go. There's the songwriter technique right there. Because a lot of times, I'll hear things and that would be a good title. So a lot of times I'll start, I'll have a concept, but then I'll hear a good title and say, hey, that might work well with this concept. And so, but that's how Tinsel and Tangle got started. And then it wasn't but 2 days later when I watched Christmas Vacation, and then I just put the two together. And, so I wrote about it. And I'm sure, at some point in my life, I've experienced probably all of that. I don't think the water pipes have busted. But, as far as procrastinating, I hope I didn't just jinx myself, procrastinating with the shopping and, the whole family aspect sometimes can get a little tense. And so, there's some personal history in that. If not exactly, at least, the frustration of it, and knowing how sometimes that could just kill a family get-together, any family get-together.
Yeah, well, that's what I loved most about that song right there is we're used to hearing the same holiday songs over and over about it. It's a winter wonderland, and it's a great time of the year, and it's, joy and gift giving, all this happy stuff. Nobody ever talks about the craziness that is Christmas shopping, or the entire family figuring out that they're going to do Thanksgiving at your house on Thanksgiving, and it's it was just really fun to hear a different side of the holiday season.
Well, and I thank you for that. There always has to be, and I'll use the term, there's a resurrection. I talk about the craziness, but then when we get to the chorus, here's how you get through it.
Exactly.
Here's what's going to help you get through it. If you can keep this thought at the forefront, you're going to get through it, and you're going to have a Merry Christmas. And that thought basically is, the reason for the season. My belief, Jesus, and if we can keep, all those good thoughts and the light that He shines. If we can keep that in the forefront of anything, and not just during the holidays, but anytime those storm clouds kind of hover over us, it'll help us get through it. So, if I'm going to paint a picture that's a little dark, there's going to be some lightness in that picture too somewhere. So,
and then your bah humbug will turn into ho ho ho.
Yes. Carl Shannon. I don't know if you're familiar with Carl. He's a kind of a Central Kentucky radio icon. He was a WSM in Nashville for a long time and up here in Central Kentucky for a while. But he retired about, it may be in a year ago. But I say all that to say I was fortunate enough to meet him and be acquainted with him. And so I sent him a copy and asked him if he would review it. I've never opened myself up like that before, but I thought, well, you need to do it. You need to do it. And so I did. And he wrote, when he sent me his review, he wrote, part of the review was, it may be the only Christmas song that has bah humbug and ho ho ho.
I never thought about it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, right next to each other. So that was really sweet that he made that comment, because I never thought of that. And he may be correct. I don't know. I may have to research that. But
yeah, it really is a fun Christmas album from the front of it to the very end. And then I just restart it right back over. But you mentioned earlier in this interview how, like whenever you're working on a Christmas album, you're having to work on it every other time of the year besides Christmas. Well, I guess if you wait more than a year to do it, you can do that. But I'd say it is kind of weird it being the middle of summer and you're singing about bah humbug and ho ho ho. Is that kind of challenging for you? How do you kind of keep the Christmas mindset whenever it's 96 degrees outside?
That wasn't an issue for me because I was pulling, from my innards, past experiences and how would I handle things, those types of things. Mm-hmm. And it really, it didn't, I don't even really think I thought about that. It wasn't, it's August or it's September. And then we actually tracked it pretty much all of October. And then, of course, November was getting everything made and set up for the releases. But that was never a big thing for me. I don't even think that ever crossed my mind just once. But I really wasn't. I was just picturing everything in my mind.
I get what you're saying. Well, with you singing about Christmas all year long, did that help with the Christmas shopping? Are you all caught up on all that?
Oh, heavens, no. See, that's why I say there's a lot of factual stuff here. I have started, but I am notorious for finishing up on the 23rd. So that I pretty much own the first verse, and I'll just
Arnold Schwarzenegger was the Terminator, and I'm the procrastinator. That's every single year.
Yep, there you go. But all the other songs I was going to tell you how we got started on those is I was just kind of trolling. Like I said, I like a good title, so sometimes I'll troll book titles or article titles to see if they, spark or get a spark going there or something in my mind or make me think of something. And somehow I got on this page. There was a scrapbooking page, and it had titles for scrapbooking pages. And there's like 150 titles. I'm like, really? So I started looking down them, and there were some really cool titles. And if I read a title and I automatically had a picture in my mind, then I would jot it down. So I went down. There were 150 titles, and I think I went down this. My original list was 60 some, and there I narrowed it down to about 30, and I just kept narrowing them down at the title, which ones would resonated with me, and I jot down things that I could write about. And all except for Come Let Us Adore, which Nate brought to the table. All Hearts Come Home for Christmas was one of the titles, and I just had it. When I saw that, I could just imagine, and I didn't even realize at the time what might happen at Christmas with people, people not traveling and doing things. At that point in time, it was still early on. But how I would handle that, and let's see, what Dear Santa, I Can Explain. And the light.
No, I really liked that one too. That was another one of my personal favorites right there. Very relatable.
Yeah. And so as soon as I read the title, I could just picture a kid reading or writing a letter to Santa saying, yeah, I know I did this, and this, but it really wasn't that bad. I mean, I didn't do it out of spite. I wasn't.
And in 2020, I think that all of us need to tell Santa, like, hey, buddy, we can explain. Listen, it's 2020, okay?
Right. And hearing the child's, I can do better, and I know I did wrong, and I'm going to do better. So they actually, they saw the light. They realized the error of their ways. So 3 of the songs, I got the titles or the idea of the titles from that list. I Wish Tonight is actually, that's all me. Here I go. It's about, I wrote it from my perspective, which is, one of these days I'm going to have someone to share a Christmas with. I've been single. I am single. And if that's the way God wants it, then I'm okay with that. But, there's this, gosh, I really wish I had someone to decorate my tree with and sit by the fire and, those kind of Christmas pictures that people paint, Christmas card pictures. And it would be nice, so I hope some point in my life God has that planned for me. And so that's where that song came from. And I kind of used the poem, Starlight, Star Bright, the first star I see tonight, but I changed first and said Christmas star. So it says the first star I see tonight is the Christmas star I see tonight. So you basically, I tried to paint a picture of myself or someone kind of just, looking out the window with the snow and just kind of wishing that special someone was there. And I never said in the song why they weren't there. I was just wishing that they were there. And so I have found out, which is kind of really what I wanted, that depending on who's listening to it, they kind of fill that blank in. Like for my mother, and I never really thought about this, when my mom heard it, we lost my stepfather 4 or 5 years ago. And so for her, that's what that song was. Because then one of the pre-choruses says, but you're not here, and I'd give anything to spend this Christmas with you. And so that's what resonated with her is my stepfather. And, so it kind of takes on, or it's applicable to many situations, which I really honestly didn't think about at the time that I had written it, but afterwards I realized that could happen and take place. And so I thought that was something kind of cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about art that I just think is so beautiful and amazing, how you can create something that has this totally different meaning to you, but whenever somebody else takes it and runs with it, they have their own interpretation of what this means. And whenever it comes to album names, I love a good album name when somebody just hits the nail right on top of the head. And I think that that's what you've done with this Christmas EP, the All Hearts Come Home for Christmas. I just think that's a beautiful title. Where does the story from that come from?
Well, once again, All Hearts Come Home for Christmas. I don't live. I'm from northern Kentucky, Campbell County, and my sister lives in Dayton, Ohio, Miamisburg, Ohio, which is close to Dayton. And when my stepfather passed, my mom went to live with my sister. So my family lives in Ohio, and here I am in central Kentucky. So, there's quite a bit of traveling going through. And, some years I've been able to get there, and some I've not. And just thinking about families in general, sometimes you're blessed to have everybody there, and sometimes you're not, whether it has to do with, it could be a loss of a loved one, a death, or somebody just flat can't get home. Could be weather, could be work, it could be military. There's so many different scenarios as to why families, or not everybody in the family, can get together, and that there might be an empty chair, something's different, and that's, but even though there might be a physical absence, they're still in your heart. And so to me, that's just such a blessing. Physical absence, yes, is hard, but you pull from the heart, because people are always in your heart. Once that handprint is there, it's never erased. And so that I kind of lead toward that in the song. It doesn't matter how far people are away. If somebody wants to be there, they may not be there physically, but they're there in your heart, and you're in their heart. You're connected. We're connected by our heart, and nobody can cut that cord. No one.
I think that's a beautiful way to sum that up. But I do see where you got somebody in your life. You got some company on the album cover. I had to ask about this cute little thing here. You got a little puppy dog in your lap. What's his or her name?
His name is Teddy. And, through this whole interview, I'm sitting on the floor playing fetch with him so he'll quit barking.
He looks like a Teddy, a very fitting name.
Yeah, and that's actually that's the name that the breeder actually had for him. And over a year ago, I had lost my last poodle, Rusty, and so I felt comfortable and I was ready to get another one. I started surfing, and I love poodles. I had a poodle when I was younger, and all of my dogs have been poodles, and I love tiny toy and teacup. I love the small ones. And
I was going to ask if that was how big that dog was ever going to get, and ask if it was a teacup. That is adorable.
Yes. Oh, thank you. He is a teacup. Well, it was the 1st of November when we took those pictures. So he was a year in July. He was born on July 4th, and I was very adamant I wanted a poodle. I didn't want a oodle. I didn't want a doodle. I didn't want a Google. I didn't want anything. A poodle. And those are hard to find, especially the little ones.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. So in Kentucky, and I wanted red. That is a registered color. So his color is red. I mean, I can't imagine why I would want a red one, but excuse me, anyway. I couldn't find that in Kentucky, so I had to start, looking outside of Kentucky. And I was fortunate enough, and I found a breeder in Alabama who was the closest. And there his little picture was on their Facebook page and their website, and his name was Teddy. And what drew me to that was my father's name. My father passed several years ago, and his name was Teddy. That wasn't his nickname. His given name was Teddy. He wasn't a Theodore. It's Teddy Donald.
Wow.
Torline. And so I'm one of those where I like signs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that drew me to him, and through the weeks I kept coming back to that picture. So I finally called the breeder, and we talked, and I asked about his parents and his grandfather's name. One of his grandfather's name was Rusty. Well, that was the poodle I just lost. That was his name. So there's the connection.
Wow.
And then, and there were several others. So by the time we finished that phone call, it just felt pretty strong in my spirit that I was supposed to have Teddy. So I told her, I said, well, I'll tell you what, just give me a day. Give me a day to pray about it, and I'll give you a call tomorrow and let you know. And so there really wasn't any doubt, throughout the day. I just knew he was mine. And so a friend of mine drove down to Alabama and picked him up. October 1st is his gotcha day.
Hey, I totally agree with signs that the universe or that God is showing you, whatever people want to believe in out there. Just if you listen to that little voice in your head or the voice in your heart, and you pay close enough attention, you will see those signs that you're on the right track.
Oh, absolutely. And as you kind of alluded to earlier, he is part of my home. And the title is All Hearts Come Home for Christmas. And so, he had to be on it. Because I wanted the title or the front cover, the artwork to be homey. Mm-hmm. And so it's in front of a fireplace. And, and in my home, you're going to have a guitar somewhere, and Teddy will be there. So, and, he's part of my home. So I don't know, it just felt natural that he be, part of the artwork, if you will, to be on the front cover. And there's another picture of him inside the cover.
Are you going to make this a normal thing now? Is Teddy going to be on the cover of every album from here on out?
I don't know. That might be my thing. It's funny. I had an interview last Friday on the radio when we debuted it. I took Teddy with me, and I was, just hoping he would, be good and just sit on Mom's lap and everything will be good. And he did. I mean, he was wonderful. But of course, the interviewer asked, now, who is this guest that you have with us? And I explained to them, as I just to you, and why he was there. And he's on the front of the album. And I'm like, and it's in his contract. He has to have his 10 seconds of fame. He figures if he's in the artwork that he has to be on the promotional tour as well. So, if I can't get anywhere in the interview with the music, I know I can spark some conversation about Teddy. So there you go.
There you go. Well,
so
and
I don't.
Well, I was going to say another thing that I love most about your album right now is I know that times are financially difficult for a lot of people out there with all of this craziness going on, but it's so affordable. I'm sitting here looking at your website right now, which is trishtorline.com if anybody wants to go check it out, but it's only $5 to download. That's pretty crazy.
Right. Well, I look at it this way. It's an EP, which means it's not a full-length album. There's only 6 songs. So, and with a download, there's not a whole lot of overhead on the download. I could have put it 6.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you download a single, what's it, 99 cents?
Yes.
I think, yeah. So I wanted people to afford it's the wrong word. I wanted it to be something that they felt they could handle and get it. I just want them to have the music.
Yeah. And I think that everybody needs some holiday cheer right now, especially with all this craziness going on. And your album, it definitely put us in the holiday spirit. We were dancing, decorating the Christmas tree and everything. It was a fun time.
that's one of the best compliments, that anybody could ever give, because that's the purpose. I want people to feel good and to enjoy it, and so I wanted them to not feel, encumbered in any way by getting it, And even the physical CD, there are physical CDs, but you can only get those on my website, and those are at $7. So even then, if you look at it as $1 a song, and then I added $1 to cover the actual CD expenses, that's still, I think, very affordable. And on my website, if you download or order the physical CD, so let me see if I get this right. So just the download is $5, but you also get a download of my Christmas CD from 2001, What Child Is This? Plus, I have a companion ebook that goes along with the album that goes a little deeper into some backstory with the songs, and the lyrics are printed in that. And the actual physical CD, if you purchase it, you get the physical CD plus the download of All Hearts Come Home for Christmas, plus the other 2 bonuses.
Oh, wow. All of that for that price right there?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, look at you with the holiday spirit. See, I think that this is an album right here that everybody needs to at least listen to this holiday season, because like we were saying earlier, you hear the same songs over and over again. It's so neat to get some fresh new Christmas music and it be actually really, really good.
Oh, you're so sweet. I appreciate that.
So for anybody out there that wants a copy or to check out more of the music from Trish Torline, how do they do that?
Okay, well, it is available on all of your music platforms. You can stream it or download it from the populars, Spotify and iMusic or Amazon or all those good. And you've made it when you can find your songs on TikTok. Now let me tell you. I can go to TikTok and make a video of "Don't Get Your Tinsel in a Tangle." That felt just a little crazy, but anyway. So all your music platforms, and you can go to my website, trishtorline.com, and you can get just a download, or you can get a physical CD. Or both. If you buy the physical CD, you get both, the download and the physical CD. But you get some extra bonuses that I can't really put into play on the other platforms. So I want to make sure that you start to feel the holiday season and get into the mood and with some music. I just want to get my music out there, and I hope it touches people's hearts. And I just want to make it affordable and doable for anyone who wants it. And I just hope they get a blessing out of it.
Well, I think that you were doing exactly that, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I see on your Facebook here that a lot of other people have. And yes, it's going to be a blessing to many people this holiday season, I think. But Trish, hey, thank you so much for calling us up and talking to us this morning about this Christmas album. I absolutely love it. You've done an incredible job, and I can't wait until the next one.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you, Trish, and you have a Merry Christmas now.
You too, honey. You too.